We are live for our second to last recap for this season of Love Island. That seems kind of crazy to me because this season absolutely flew by. I know it was only 6 weeks long, but the weeks just kind of flew past, and I'm just blown away that we are now at the end of our season. So let's talk about tonight's episode. We got 4 couples left. They all went on one final date before we find out who takes home the $100,000 tomorrow. So also, before I get started, you do have a second chance to vote again tonight. So the voting window should be open right now. Also, for some of us, will be open again in 3 hours. So if you want to vote to ensure that Justine and Caleb walk away with this $100,000, make sure you get on the app and vote. Seems like voting is a pretty important thing these days. So when it comes to reality TV, never forget to go out and vote. So let's jump into tonight's episode. Four couples, 4 dates. We start off with Carrington and Laurel, and I think Carrington is now in love. Unfortunately, that love isn't with Laurel, it's with a car. You know, I've never been a car guy. There's nothing about a car that just makes me all excited and giddy. But apparently Carrington is a car guy, and driving in a red car, and it looked like he was just driving the speed limit. So driving the speed limit in a red car is really what helps him get his rocks off. This really just seemed like they just wanted to have Carrington drive a car. So I guess that's the date. The date is like they kind of talked about what their life will be like after this show, but really this was just about Carrington in the car, and it left me scratching my head a little bit. So Carrington, he loves red cars. He's kind of into Laurel, and they're gonna try to keep things going after the show and after they get out of here. Their plan will go visit each other at least once a month, and you know, I just don't know if that's enough. Long distance, not something I've ever been a fan of. And Alabama to Utah, especially with the way the world is right now, I don't see how you're going to manage going to visit each other every single month. So I don't know what their prognosis is outside of the villa, but yeah, that's sort of the end of Carrington and Laurel's journey. Next up, we have Justine and almost said in Justine and Sally. You know, they did have their little side date, their Celine side date, but let's not jump into that too much. Justine and Caleb, they probably, in my opinion, by far had the best date. They got to go in a helicopter. They got to fly in, not just over the Grand Canyon, they got to fly in the Grand Canyon, and then got to land and have a picnic on the edge of the Grand Canyon. For anyone out there who's ever been to the Grand Canyon, it is one of those things that you witness in your life. When you see it in person, it is absolutely breathtaking, and I can only imagine how special that moment was for Justine and Caleb to share. And then on top of that, we get to see Caleb drop those 3 little words. That's right. He said, "I love you" to Justine. And then Justine almost gave me a heart attack. Like, she started talking, saying her little spiel back to Caleb. And I was like, wait, is she not going to say it back? Is she not going to say "I love you"? But thankfully she did. So everyone's favorite couple, Justine and Caleb, they survived the dates. They're even more in love than ever. And I just absolutely love this couple. You know, very rarely do you find on a reality TV show that you really just feel totally invested in a couple. And this is one of those couples, and I wish them nothing but the best. I really hope that they're the ones who take home this $100,000 tomorrow. And yeah, I just absolutely love them. All right, next up we have Kelvin and Moira. That was kind of interesting, Kelvin eating that oyster. To me, that was the highlight of the date. Moira feeding him that oyster. I thought it was going to go substantially worse than it did. And then we see Calvin like being like, "Oh, yep, that was really good. Yep, I really enjoyed it. Yep, that was so delicious." It's like, no, no, Calvin, I don't think you did. It didn't look like a very pleasant moment in your life, and probably not the highlight of your stay in the villa. I was kind of been like, I've been trying to figure out like, what is it about Calvin that like just doesn't quite sit right with me, and I think I've finally pegged it down, and that is that I think sometimes he is playing a character. This is definitely something that happens to people, that you get a camera on somebody and they just can't quite act like themselves, and that's how it feels. And also when it comes to trying to impress someone, you kind of put on this little facade, and I really think that is what Calvin's been doing all season long, and just today it kind of clicked in for me. That's what is going on with Calvin. He's playing the character of Calvin and not just being Calvin. And I think it was the moment when he said, "Moira, my favorite thing about you is that no matter what we're doing, where we are, who we're with, you're always Moira." So that was kind of like my aha moment that Calvin is not, maybe not always Calvin. So let's move on to our final couple now. Selly and Johnny. They're probably my least favorite couple left in the villa. I can't get over everything that happened in Casa Amor, and hearing all this stuff with Johnny's dad talking about, oh, the game plan makes me just still have that lingering doubt that he's in it to win the money, not to win the girl, and that just kind of puts me off from them overall. But their date just felt very weird to me. Kind of get this romantic little setting. They're in this huge auditorium. It's only them. They have this romantic little meal set up. And then all of a sudden the dancing started, and I'm sitting there thinking, if I'm in that position, that's not romantic for me. Like, watching two other people dance, that's not romance to me. Like, thankfully they got on the stage at the end to have a little dance themselves, but I just think like, and on top of it, like, Selly was about to say something to Johnny. Johnny kind of had his toast. Selly's trying to do her toast back. All of a sudden the lights dim and there's two strangers just dancing on the stage, and it's like, okay, this is awesome. But yeah, they kind of salvaged it at the end by getting up on stage and having their little dance. But mainly their little dance was them standing in a little pose for the cameras, which also felt a little awkward. But anyways, that's it for our four couples tonight. Really hoping that Justine and Caleb take home the prize tomorrow night. That'll be it for the season tomorrow. So excited to see how everything plays out. And, in all honesty, I wish the best for all of our couples moving forward. Be interested to see just how all of them do on the outside world. All right. As always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, we'll see you later.